Hey, what's up kiddos? Trowbro is back with another drawing with Trowbro, and today we're going to be looking at how to design a Day of the Dead mask. Now, Day of the Dead, or in Spanish, Dia de los Muertos, is a Mexican holiday where we celebrate the passing of friends or family. And they decorate everything, and it's really colorful and it's fun. It's more of a celebration of life. And so let's go ahead and get our pencils ready and let's learn how to design a Day of the Dead mask. Alright, so here on my left I have Googled Day of the Dead, and you can do this on your Chromebook, a laptop, or whatever. And what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to get some inspiration. There's a lot of different kinds of designs and stuff, and what you can do is you can find one that you like, and then, or you can like take different parts of different masks that you like. Alright, so I'm just going to pick this one right here because I kind of like some of the designs, and I think it's really the mustache that's really drawing me to it. And so I'm going to base my Day of the Dead mask on this. So I'm going to start by drawing a giant oval for my head. Alright, and then I'm going to add a couple little curves to it and stuff to draw like the cheeks and the chin. But I start off with a simple oval taking up almost the entire piece of paper because I want this mask to be nice and big. Now I'm going to draw some cheekbones, and they're kind of just curved lines on the left and the right about in the middle of the oval we just drew. And then from my cheeks, I'm going to make his head where his brain is just a little bit bigger. So I just draw this kind of like the same oval type shape on top, but I just make it a little bit bigger because you want your top of your head to be a little bit wider than where your jaw is. And then I'll come down here and square up his jaw, just make the bottom line just a little bit flatter because our chins aren't like super round. So I just kind of square it off a little bit. Now I'm going to draw his eye sockets right where his eyes would be. So I kind of put like a line right there in the middle so I know, put an eye socket on each side. And I feel like these shapes kind of remind me of sunglasses, alright? They're not completely like just ovals. They're kind of like a little bit flat on the top and the bottom and then kind of round on the edges. And so if you just want to draw ovals, that's fine. I think there's all different kinds of Day of the Dead masks, so it doesn't really matter what your ovals look like. Just make sure you just draw nice big ovals because we're going to be decorating them here in a little bit. For our nose, I'm going to be drawing basically an upside down heart, but it's kind of a little squash, a little skinny upside down heart for where his nose is. You should be able to do that pretty easily. We've all drawn a few hearts in our day. For his mouth, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from the cheekbone, and I'm going to kind of go down to where his mouth would be, and then draw kind of like a line all the way across and connect it to the other cheekbone. Alright, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little mark on the middle, and I'm going to kind of space out his teeth. I want to make sure that, he's got even amount of teeth. I think I want 8 teeth on top and 8 teeth on bottom. So after I put the line in the middle, and I put 3 little lines on the left, 3 lines on the right. Alright, you can kind of see that sometimes like maybe his face isn't completely symmetrical, which means the same length on the left and the right. Alright, so I might have to like extend it, maybe widen something so I can fit it all in there. And then I'm going to draw 8 little arches going from each of these little marks. Alright, I always try to measure my things out to make sure that I have enough space for it. I'm doing it on the top and on the bottom. Alright, now right above his mouth, I'm going to put his mustache, and I'm not going to make it as curly as the one on the left. Mine's going to be mostly flat, and then right at the end it kind of gets a little pointy and goes up a little bit. You can have a mustache on yours or not. Your call. Your mask. Now I'm going to draw the little arches around his eye sockets, and these kind of remind me of like kind of flower petals. Like imagine if your eye socket had just like a flower in it, so there's like these little arches that go all the way around, and I want to make sure that I have the same amount of petals on the left eye as the right eye. Alright, so I'm kind of keeping track. If I put one on the left, I want to put one on the right in the same spot. I don't want his left eye to have like 10 petals, and then the one on the other side to only have like 8. I want to make it as symmetrical as I can. It's not going to be perfect, but I'm just going to always try my best. As an artist, I like to create some unity and some flow into my artwork, so I like to repeat the same shape. So not only do you have those arches in his mouth, for his teeth, you have them around his eyes, but I'm going to put a little heart right here on his forehead, and then add a little couple teardrops. So it's kind of like the one on the left, but I'm changing it up just a little bit. And mine's probably not going to be as detailed either. I'm going to keep it nice and simple. Alright, now I really like the flowers on the top of his head, so I'm going to draw the little circle part of the flower, the inside yellow part, and it's just like kind of half a circle, and then the petals. And I only see one full petal sticking out, and it looks kind of like a bee if you added like a third little bump. It just comes out, and the middle bump's a little bit bigger. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, making sure it's nice and symmetrical, and I only do like you only see like part of the other petals. So I draw like a little bump, and then it kind of like, I run out of space because it hits that line. And then kind of little triangle leaves in between the petals for the leaves, add a little line for the fold, and that was easy. Now I really like these little vine eyebrows on the Day of the Dead mask on the left. So I'm going to kind of try to copy that. So I'm going to make his eyebrows, and then kind of starts down and then goes up. And then I'm just going to add a few little leaves. And I really like the way this looks. So I'm going to add a couple of these other places on his face. And I think the real challenge is to make sure that they're the exact same, to make sure they're symmetrical. So it has kind of like a curve. It's kind of like a really long S, all right? So I just kind of curve it. Sometimes it might take you a second to, like, after you make the first one, to like make sure that you do it the right way on the other side. So just make sure you're drawing light, because you might have to erase things. You've seen me like erase a bunch of times, because sometimes I'll put a line down, I'll be like, that's not right, I can do better. And so make sure you're drawing nice and light, because you will have to erase things. Alright, I'm going to add a little arch around each of the teeth, because I really like on the left hand side where you can see the teeth and there's like that yellow part. It's kind of like the gums of his teeth. And so I'm going to add little arches inside of my teeth, just so it gives me, another chance to add some more color to this, because the skull has like no color at all. So we want to make this nice and colorful, so giving me these extra shapes will add a little bit of color and fun to it. And then for his chin, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an hourglass, alright? Because, we have a limited amount of time on this planet, and so, that's one of the themes, I think, of Day of the Dead, is just appreciate the time that you have, and then appreciate the time you had with your loved ones and your friends. And so I'm going to put a little hourglass, and then little hearts and little teardrops inside of them, just to give it some more, color and pizzazz. Now right here on the bottom of his jaw, I'm going to add another one of those little vine things, just because there's some negative space right there. So draw that little weird looking S, and then just add a couple leaves. I'm going to put just a few here, and then make sure that I put the exact same amount on the other side. Nice and symmetrical. Then inside of his eye socket, I'm going to draw a little ring in there. This is just going to give me another shape that I can color. So I'm going to make it really close to the circle of the eye socket. It's going to be just like a thin little line that I can color here. Here I'm going to speed it up, because I'm going to take a thin Sharpie and I'm going to trace over all of my pencil. It's really going to give it some pop, and it'll really stand out, and you guys can see like all the little details that are in the mask. And then as soon as I'm done tracing over it, it's going to be time to color it. Now it is time to use my colored pencils and color this Day of the Dead mask. I'm also going to speed this up a little bit, but I will talk about my process in coloring. One, you don't have to color it the exact same way you find your example on the internet. I'm going to choose some of the different colors, but I do like to create some unity in my artwork. So like if I use a blue somewhere on the top, I try to also use the blue somewhere else in the painting. Alright, this creates some flow and leads the viewers kind of around your artwork. So make sure, if you use a color somewhere, try to use it again somewhere else. Alright, now this last part I'm going to speed up too, because I'm going to paint all of the areas black. Alright, now I chose to use black paint because I thought it would be a little bit faster as opposed to using black colored pencil or Sharpie or something. So I'm just using black watercolor, and I'm going to paint inside of his eye sockets, inside of his nose, his mustache, and then all around the mask. And I think that's going to give it a lot of pop, and it will really stick out, and it'll look great on a wall or on a refrigerator. And I'm really happy with my Day of the Dead mask. Well, kiddos, I hope you had fun designing your Day of the Dead mask. Make sure you keep practicing art, and stay tuned to my channel for more drawing videos and different art projects, and I'll see you next time.